Hi, welcome back to the channel. Now I did say, I think it was a previous video, that I was going to start doing a blog, or I was going to have a go at doing a blog anyway. Well, we put the email out and there's been loads and loads of interest, which is good to see. It's got me in the position now whether I want to do it or not, I've got to do it. Now there was a few messages from people who was a bit concerned, I think, of their wording was, I only like your channel for your mechanical videos and ride outs. I'm not much interested in blogs. One guy says because it gets too political. I understand that. So what we're going to be doing on a Monday will be my normal videos. If I'm doing some servicing, some repairs, engine work or ride outs, that'll be Monday. Thursday, if everything goes to plan and I'm any good at this blogging, or if you want me to continue, that will be a Thursday. Then any days in between where I've been out and filmed something, because I don't usually ride my bike unless I take the camera with me, because it's the days I don't take the camera, you can guarantee something interesting comes up. You think, God, why didn't I bring the camera? So them sort of videos will be any day, just extras for you like. So Mondays, everything's as normal, repairs, servicing, engine rebuilds, anything on the bikes, fork repair, suspension. But a Thursday, if it all goes well, we'll be trying to do a blog. What I thought I'd start off with is a quick recap from my controversial video, as it turns out, on the USA banning Chinese vehicles from 2027. The reaction was a lot more than I ever thought would ever happen. It was sort of 60-40, round about there I think, where the 40 was political. Some of you guys have got some really strong views on buying Chinese bikes, cars, but there's always the argument, you know, your phone's made in China, everything's made in China, isn't it? As this isn't a political channel, and I never want it to be, we're not going to go there on a discussion on that, because it just opens a can of worms, doesn't it? And I'm not really interested in that. After reading all the comments, someone was very interesting, but my personal view is that it's purely a trade war and nothing else. I think the American government, do you call it a government in America? The House, the Senate, I'm not too sure. I think they're using the country's security as a way to get this pushed through their Parliament, government, House, Senate, to ban Chinese vehicles coming into the USA. Basically, as we all know now, nobody can match them on price, and it's going to kill other manufacturers who's not Chinese. That's what I think it is anyway. Some of the good comments on the Chinese bikes there's quite a lot. It's quite surprising how many of you, we're talking of the latest Chinese bikes, not from 10 years ago, really like the bikes. You like the style, because some of the comments was it's as good as an Italian styling. It's better than the Japanese, some people were saying. The quality, of course, we don't know on the quality, to be honest, do we? When the bike's new, I'll give them the due. They've not had the Royal Enfield problems, have they? You know, when the Himalayans come out, there was a lot of problems, weren't there? And I think Royal Enfield was a little bit like Harley Davidson. You know, I used to be an Harley bloke years and years ago. Harley would make a bike like when the twin can come out. It was a nightmare, wasn't it? Cam failures, whatnot. They really got the public to road test the bikes, didn't they? And then there was put right after. That's how I think Royal Enfield was. I don't believe they're like that now. It's only the last few years they've changed. But the Chinese at the moment seem to be pretty good. But there again, they're making copies of Japanese bikes, aren't they? So they've had a bit of an head start. One of the biggest things is the price. The price, nobody can match the price of a Chinese bike, especially for what you get on the bike. You think how many of us have bought Japanese bikes and then you have to upgrade the suspension. How many of the Japanese bikes don't have adjustable front suspension? Back in the day, the 70s and 80s, even the 750s, 850s, 1000cc bikes had some form of adjustable suspension on the front, even if it was just air valves. You had something. Now, most of the Jap stuff that comes out nowadays is just bog standard, cheap suspension. But on the Chinese, you're getting everything, and it's branded KYB, you know, world name, innit? They're getting some decent gear on them. And you've got all your TFTs, your electrical stuff. I know I'm not into that, but this is what the modern rider likes, and it's on the bike. My only concerns are they can barely keep up with the production of like the 450 MT, the CF Motor 450 MT. Every country's got a backlog. They're waiting for these bikes to come in. Now, I'm not sure whether it's the production or whether it's the shipping. I'm not sure. But nobody seems to have got any genuine, or very few of you, genuine accessories. Your top boxes, side panels, your racks. The stuff's not here yet, which is either very bad planning or, yet again, a shipping problem. Now, why I keep saying the shipping problem is, I watch Reste Rider. I think she was one of the first ones in the UK to have the 450 MT. One thing she looked at was the price of parts. She wanted a top box, 2 side boxes, obviously the mounting racks and various other bits and bobs she wanted. There's none in the country, but there wasn't any in the country from anybody. But the price was, I think she costed it up about £1,800. I'm sure I saw that, don't take me gospel on this, but I think that's what she'd put on a site. If it wasn't her site, it was somebody else's, but I'm sure it's Reste Rider. Now, she's used somebody called Uncle Wang. I have heard of him because Nathan, the postman, he got some stuff for his bikes from him. He makes all the stuff for the latest bikes, Chinese bikes. He only does Chinese stuff. And she's ordered all her racks, boxes, side panels, and I think it come in about £550 against about £1,800. That is some huge difference in price. One of the things I do wonder about, well, there's 2 things. I'm not picking on the 450 MT here. It's because it's in the CC range of the bikes I run myself at the moment. My Bullet, this will do about 85 miles to the gallon every single day. My Interceptor, it's got a fuel module on it. So this has got a fuel module on it as well. But the Interceptor's got one on it. I get about 80 to the gallon out of that. And I was quite surprised being the twin. Now my Himalayan, I just did a big trip into Romania. I think it was 97 the average worked out at. And it's got Tech Cam, X-Lite fuel module in it. Yeah, not threshing the guts out of it, but I run at 105 kilometres an hour. That's my normal speed with it. I can open it up to overtake something still. But I've got used to them miles to the gallon. And at the end of the day, whatever you put in the tank, if you like, it's burning money, isn't it? It's just gone. The first thing I did notice on the CF Moto 450 was Nathan the postman. It's his holy grail of bikes. He absolutely loves this bike. For him, it's good for touring, commuting, trails, which he obviously does a lot of. He loves it. Big bike feel and everything else. He never said how many miles per gallon he was getting. What he did say, they did a back-to-back comparison with the new Royal Enfield 452. And it was quite a bit lower. He says there's a big difference, but he didn't actually say what it was. But I don't think it pissed on his fucking chips really, did it like? But he loves that 450 MT. But he did say it's not as good on fuel as the 452. Now, Reste Rider, she's still running hers in, and I watched hers the other day. She was on about it, like a bit of a review how she's getting on with it. Even though she's running in, I'm sure it was, what she said, was 67 miles to the gallon. I thought, Christ. I have a 450 twin, a lady rider, she's going to take her time with it, and she's running it in. She says it was commuting to work and short rides and what have you. 67 to the gallon. Might increase as the bike gets run in properly, but I'm not so sure. But them miles to the gallon, for some reason, they ain't really good really, are they? Not 67. Now, I had a Triumph Street Scrambler 900 and I used to get 80 plus out of that. And that was riding at a fairly quick pace with it. Now, my last thing on it, and this is the last comment I'm going to be on about Chinese bikes. I know the CF Motos, and I think the Coves and all the others, they all give good warranty. I think the CF Motors a 2-year warranty, I believe, where you can have an extended extra 3 years up to 5 years, which you've got to pay for that, I think. To me, I wonder, give them 18 months, 2 years, whether Motorcycle News and the sales sites are going to be flooded with CF Moto bikes. Now, it's not just CF Moto, it's back to a Chinese thing, this is, because it doesn't matter what bike you're buying, KTMs, BMWs, so much of the parts are made in China. I wonder how many of the CF Motos or the Coves are going to be up for sale dirt cheap with small running problem. The reason is they're absolutely sick and tired of it under warranty still, been sat in the dealers for months and months on end. Not the dealer's problem, because the dealer can't get the parts to fix it, even though it's under warranty. It's no good, the warranty's worthless if you haven't got nothing to fix your bike with, is you? It's like spring comes, you've been off the road all winter. Spring comes, you're on the road a month into your spring, summer riding season, something goes wrong with the bike. It's under warranty, you've got to take it back. Well, you don't want to be paying for the repair anyway. It usually takes a week, doesn't it? You know, they've got to investigate it or get permission to investigate it, find out what's wrong with it, report the problems. Yeah, it's going to be covered, no problem. We've got to order your bits. If the stuff isn't about, you can't get it, you know, your warranty's worth as much as this piece of paper I got in my hand, isn't it? Rest Day Rider, she's doing a bit of a tour in Scotland with some of her mates, I believe. It's her first big journey. And she's managing with a rucksack at the moment, or a tank bag she's got done somewhere. But that's no good for when she goes away. She'll be chucking a big bag on the back of it, won't she? You know, waterproof bag like we all do. But she wanted her boxes so she can carry her camera gear and all the stuff, a tent and everything. She ordered the stuff now, it was 6 weeks ago, I believe, and this is from Uncle Wang's in China. And she said, the bloke's very good. The same day, I get a reply back. The problem is, it's not the stuff isn't made, is they can't ship it. The reasons being was they've had hurricanes there, which I assume affects everything. And the other thing is problems in the world today. The shipping. It's where the ships have got to go, the routes have got to go. Quite a lot of them have had to be changed because they can't go through certain areas, it's not safe. And there's that many problems. It's not like one area. It's dotted over now, isn't it? You know, Russia, Ukraine, Iraq again. There's all over the place. Plus China, Taiwan, through the straits there and what have you. A lot of it's problems. And he says there's such a big backlog in China of stuff waiting to be shipped. The shipping yards are stacked high everywhere with containers. All that stuff's waiting to move out and they can't get it on ships, or if they get it on a ship, they can't go where they want to go. So the stuff is not moving. So this is the problem. This is why I think in maybe 18 months, 2 years, a lot of these Chinese bikes are going to be up for sale with a problem, or you're just that fed up. You know, if my bike had been under warranty in a dealership for 2 months, 3 months, waiting for parts, I would think, this no good to me, this. I'd put my bike up for sale and be buying something else. But I know it's not straightforward because, like I said, so much stuff's made in China now for other manufacturers. Just a thought. That's it. That's the end of this about Chinese bikes and stuff, because the internet's full of it. But I thought it was just fair on the viewers that put their comments to what they thought and their concerns, which whatever I've talked about today is their concerns as well, not just mine. Right, on to the next thing. Neil from Spain. he sent me an email, and I really like this. This was really interesting. What makes an adventure bike? Like, if somebody asked me that, well, I have got my own view on it. The first thing that flashes into my head, what makes an adventure bike? I call my Himalayan adventure bike, even though it's Royal Enfield 411. But it's still an adventure bike. The GS 1250, the GS 1300, Multistradas, Honda Transalps, Africa Twins. They're what flies into people's heads. That's an adventure bike. But I'll tell you about Neil now. He got a very good point here, he has. I've got his email here, actually. The bike he's had for the last 17 years was a 1988 BMW K75. You know, the four-cylinder water-cooled one. And he found it abandoned in a garage, been in the garage for many, many years. He bought it on a budget, dirt cheap. I nearly said renovate. He hasn't renovated it. He's been through it and sorted out whatever needed sorting. Nothing cosmetic, just mechanical, put anything right so it's fit for the road. Now, he's owned this bike 17 years. He's used it extensively. Recently, August and September of this year, he did a 5,500 kilometre route through Spain, France, Italy and Switzerland. And earlier this year, he did a trip in the desert over the Atlas Mountains in Morocco. He put on tyres, serviced the bike this year. That's mainly all he's done for it. He says she's far from immaculate. He says it's proven extremely versatile and excellent to ride and keeps up well with his friends on big modern adventure bikes. The only time he does lose out a bit is the off-road sections. But he's not saying he doesn't do them. He still does them, but he just has to, he says them a bit slower. He says it works great. Doesn't stand him at anything, yet he can do exactly the same, more or less. Well, when he rode with his mates have got newish adventure bikes, the GS's, Transalps, all this sort of thing. He rode with them. They never left him behind because obviously the K75 isn't a slow bike anyway. But it is only an old road bike, but it's built like a tank. It handled the grounds, even the off-road sections. No, Morocco, it isn't much roads, is it? It's just tracks and crap like that sort of thing. He was doing the same as they was. Got me thinking about it. He sent me a few photos, so I'll put the photos up so you can have a look at them. It's just a couple of pictures. It's loaded up with his K75 and some of the roads. I think it looked like he was at Stelvio Pass for a guess. I'm not sure. He didn't say where it was. But it's like, what is an adventure bike? Now, I wonder how many people have gone and spent. I don't think you can get anything new 750 like the Transalp and that sort of thing for less than 15,000 UK pounds now. BMW's 20 plus, depends on what extras you want on it. I wonder how many people don't do things like trips to Morocco. I mean, big journeys, you know, from the UK, you can all nip over to France just for the weekend. It's no hassle. It's like me going into Romania or getting into Serbia sort of thing. It's local but not local. It's no big hassle, is it? But how many people aren't doing the big journeys who wish they could? The reason being, now, if you've got a 15,000, 20,000 pound bike, I wonder how many people just chuck the cash down on the desk, pay for it right out. A lot of you got it on finance. It's just the way of the world, isn't it? But your payments per month, is that stopping you from riding that bike to where your heart would like you to take it? Financial reasons, that's what I'm saying. Do you think you're better off with an older bike? I suppose it could still be an adventure bike, but like Neil from Spain is BMW K75. It's not everybody's first choice of an adventure bike, but his bike don't stand him at anything bar basic servicing. Like I said, the service this year and tyres. And he's been to Morocco, Spain, France, Italy, Switzerland. He's doing exactly the same and getting the same enjoyment as somebody on a 20 grand bike. It'd be interesting for whoever's watching this to give me your point of view on that. Now, is it just having the big bike and all the gear, fashion, accessory fashion? It's a bit like when I lived in the UK, I lived at one end of the road where I lived. The other end, there was a school. I used to walk up the road. I used to hate it at school time, picking up school. There's women with the cars and stuff. Now, the place I lived was a really nice village, got a big boat marina there and all that. There's all well-to-do people. And that used to walk down there, and there was brand new Range Rover Vogues, brand new Land Rovers even, big Toyotas, big Mercedes 4x4s. Now, I would put any of them big 4x4s as an adventure car vehicle, especially a Land Rover. But I bet the most off-roading them vehicles saw was the bit of grass that's parked on the side of the road. It was never used as adventure this, adventure that. So I wonder how many people's got the big GSs and Multistradas. They look the part. Is it just a fashion thing? They're not doing adventure riding, so do you need an adventure bike? I agree, if it's extreme, you do need an big adventure bike. That's if it's extreme. But there again, you still don't need a 1200cc bike, do you? Look at Nathan in the Postman, he's always raving on about this. The weekends where they go, they did one in Italy I saw. It was Iceland. I watched this video. And there's people on 411 Royal Enfields, 300 on the CRFs. And there's a few people on KTMs, 690s, etc., and bigger. The only people that were struggling was the people on the big bikes. When they come to the river crossings, they were stalling it, falling over. You got obviously helpers there. There's like two people trying to steady the bike as they got it through the river, this sort of thing. It was the guys on the little bikes that could ride through themselves, even if they weren't experts. Some of them, it's their first time of having a go. So you don't need a 20 grand bike to be an adventure. But looking at Neil's email to me, you don't even need something with knobbly tyres on, do you? In actual fact, it actually got me thinking then, where have I been this year myself? I've done quite a lot in Bulgaria because it's all mountains here and lakes and rivers and what have you. And I've done quite a bit in Romania this year. I often go, if I go somewhere, I might just be there a couple of days. You can't see everything. I like to see everything if I can. So I go again. And I might have done the trip on the Himalayan first off. But next time I've took this, the Bullet. And I can honestly say I've not been anywhere in Romania or Bulgaria this year. And some of it's been quite a bit gnarly, where I've took the Bullet and it hasn't done what my Himalayan can do. And it often gets me thinking now, because I'm getting older, especially I've just got my oil pump in my chest sorted out this week again, that this is easy for me to get on. This has got more lock than the Himalayan. You can turn around on a sixpence with it. It pulls like a tractor. It's beautiful. Do I need that Himalayan? I'm not saying the Himalayan is a good bike. It's a brilliant bike. I love it. The suspension, the only advantage on that is the suspension's a bit better than this, but this isn't bad. So, what is an adventure bike? You tell me. Is it a fashion accessory? Do you need it? Yeah, I know there's going to be the guys that do the proper adventure. I wouldn't have thought you'd try tackling sand dunes on a K75 BMW, but anything else I think it's fit enough for, same as this is. Just let me know. Right. What I'm going to do, what I'd like you to do, now the reason I'm saying this is because some people's already done it. At the end of this blog, I'm going to put on picture of the week, because some of you sent some excellent pictures, and there's that many. I've got enough pictures to last months, but I'm only going to put the ones that stand out to me, if you like. Now, picture of the week this week's going to come from Edward from Nevada, Texas. It's a picture of his 411 Himalayan. He must be out in the desert, or it looks like desert to me, with the mountains behind. It is stunning, absolutely stunning. So, well done, Edward from Nevada, Texas. Your picture is bike of the week. So if you've got a cracking picture, it's like in the UK, if you've got a picture of moorlands or anywhere like that, down Cornwall, sea views, something that's interesting, send me the picture in, and if it's the one of the week, you'll see it on YouTube. Right, so I hope you enjoyed this as my first one. I don't know how I've come over. I think I've enjoyed it. It's gone slightly better than I was. I didn't stumble too much. But I've got the boss yet to do the editing on it, so she'll cut out the worst bits for me. So I hope you enjoyed this anyway. A big thumbs up for it. Any comments, leave them down below. The email address will be put across the screen again. So as soon as you put anything you want to talk about as an email, so I can have a chance to read it through. Any pictures, send them through as email as well, and we'll put them on. And like I say, I hope you enjoyed it. So please subscribe, keeps the channel going as normal, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.